Hello and welcome to the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike and Laurent. It is Tuesday, April 5th. Time is flying. In this episode, Arsenal revert back to Arsenal-y. Palace soar. The best game in the world is on. But first, Mike, Spurs are back.
Spurs are back. Arsenal are back. Yeah, well, I had a good weekend, right? So I got to see Brentford smash the shit out of Chelsea. I got to see Tottenham absolutely bushwhack Newcastle. No noise from the Saudi boys on Sunday. And then on Monday, we got to see Selhurst Park swallow Arsenal whole. It was unbelievable. It was so
Anfield
good.
South. It
really was. And we all have said this. We've all experienced it, right? Like Selhurst Park comes alive, and it's a difficult place to play.
City drew, man.
And
that was their last game. That's 4 points against Arsenal and City. Yikes.
So when I saw it was a night game, Monday night game, and I went, coming out of the international break, we talked about this. Vieira getting the boys on the juice, just getting ready for it. Conor Gallagher was, I'm pretty sure, foaming at the mouth in the first 20 minutes of this game. The entire stadium, which it's so interesting because it's so small, right? But it relative to the larger stadiums, but it just fucking comes alive.
Holy shit.
The first 35 minutes of the game, you'd have thought you were at Old Trafford or Anfield. It was crazy.
Yeah, Istanbul, baby. Istanbul.
This is before they scored, okay? And when they did, they scored the first one. They're like, all right, cool. When they scored the second one, the fucking proverbial roof popped off of the place. Like, it was nuts. And, I hate them, but I was like, ooh, I kind of feel bad for Arsenal. Like, that's how bad this battering was.
They're getting it.
Was
I think
2-0, and they didn't have a shot like 40 minutes into the game. Not even a shot, like anywhere.
I think the thing that people didn't realize was that Palace was always like that. But and Steve Parish had kept on trying to find that offensive manager to help it work. Like, he tried to bring in De Boer, and he tried, and then he'd have to go back to Allardyce. And then they found something with Hodgson to keep them up, and he could never fire him because he was too good. And he was like consolidating and holding on to players. But that version of Palace never won at home, and they played so bad. And they would just get their points, stay in the league. Zaha would do something. And, he's racking up all these stats. He's like the all-time most fouled player in Premier League history. He's third. He's third in penalties drawn. Like, he's getting up there. He's been in the Premier League now almost 10 years.
Yeah.
But now that they have Vieira and they were able to turn that whole group over, that original group that brought them up, there's an amazing documentary about Palace. It's called Where Eagles Soar on Amazon Prime. I recommend you watch it. It goes through Dougie Freeman. It goes through early Zaha and Yannick Bolasie. Respect to Yannick Bolasie, my old friend. When they would just fly down the wings, and they had my old friend Glenn Murray in the middle. And they were like, Glenn Murray, why is he here? Anyway, so that's too much Palace history. But they've got something. I'm happy for Vieira. I'm happy it's another team that's not a defensive team. The whole league is sort of changing, and when we go through more of the when I go through the scores, we're going to talk about our friends who are still playing the old way. But Mike, send me to the scores.
Well, before that, right? Well, no, we were talking more about Zaha, and I was watching the NBC coverage, and Robbie Musto was saying, like, Zaha he was always, all right, that's the guy. Just don't let fucking him beat you today, and you'll figure out Palace, right? Yep. But now you've got so many different threats. Olise didn't even play today, by the way.
Eze either.
And Gallagher was all over the place, like I said. But they were saying that Zaha is like, this team is so fun, it's infectious to be a part of, right? And so you finally have something that Selhurst Park can really sink its teeth into and come alive. So with that, let's get the rest of the scores.
All right, the rest of the scores. The big boys hold serve. Liverpool 2, Watford 0. It was cagey. Watford played well for a 2-0 loss. Brighton still can't get off the schneid. Both these teams are on 6-game losing streak. 0-0. My friend and his wipes missed a penalty. Neil Mopay. Ugh, brutal. City dispatch of Burnley in literally 15 minutes. They scored a goal in the first 10. They scored another one 10 minutes later. De Bruyne with a nice one. But this game was over. Burnley showed nothing. Cornet came on in the second half. When is Dice just going to play that dude and just be like, you're playing? I don't know what he's doing. Brentford, mighty bees, annihilate Chelsea. What a fucking game. The shot that Rudiger keeps been trying all season finally goes in. Chelsea's like, yeah, we got this. And they're
That
like,
was
not
nuts.
so fast, my friend. It's
Mm-mm.
Brentford, and they will come and come and come and come. And that's not a dirty joke. Leeds draw with Southampton. Those two teams are safe. I'm glad they'll be back. Wolves defeat Villa. The Schneid, the gloss is off, my friend,
The
Mr.
shine. Yeah.
The shine is off, my friend, Mr. Gerard. I
3
think
straight losses.
the Coutinho thing has been weird. He's kind of disrupted what they had. And then United, the little spoken about this team, the better. They're done. They're on the beach. They're sinking like a stone. They're seventh. There's no way they're coming back into it. Leicester should have won this game. Then West Ham defeat Everton. Everton are awful, and they are in
Mhm.
trouble. And then your mighty Tottenham Hotspur kill Newcastle in a full performance. Really, really good. There's a way they're playing. Kulishevsky, Son, Kane, Yauza, and then Betancourt. All of a sudden, I'll talk about it in a minute. They're playing passes through the middle all of a sudden. And we just chatted about it Monday. Palace 3, Arsenal 0. Not much from the Arsenal. I think Arsenal just got bushwhacked. Like they were just like, what the fuck is this?
It's very reminiscent to the first game of the season with Brentford, right? Where they were just completely overrun by the occasion. And
yes,
hey, let's call it what it is. If this were a team in lily white and blue, we'd be calling it Spursy. This is Arsenal-y.
Yes, that's true. Here's the difference. Your team is filled with vets who've been through the wars. This team is 24 years old.
No.
So
yeah,
they
absolutely.
get the pass. I know it's unfair. They've gone down to the bottom. They had years of Wengeritis.
Look, this is the most likable team I've ever seen. Okay?
Of Arsenal, for sure.
Yeah.
For
but
sure.
I mean, call a spade here. Like this was a moment where Tottenham punched the shit out of Newcastle 5-1. They go up 4. I'm sorry, no, they went up 2 on goal difference on Arsenal. And this is Arsenal's chance to go, no. We're going to serve it right back. We're going to go take care of business on a tough away game in a tough environment, and we're going to show you that we're also for real. And this is going to kick on the top 4 race. And it's a tough place to win a game, but they have a tough run in. And this signals to me now, again, how many times have we seen, not just this season, over the last 5, that 4th place ends up being the team who loses it the least, right? Like Tottenham's been in that role before. Actually, in fact, the year they went to the Champions League final, they finished in 4th by the grace of God. Like they were like, we sucked the less out of like Chelsea and Arsenal and Leicester and somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So for me to sit here and proclaim Manchester United and West Ham out of this race is holy fucking shit, so foolish, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at the schedules a little bit more, you go, well, United and Arsenal have to play each other. And Arsenal still has to play Liverpool. So does Spurs. But Arsenal has to play Chelsea. So the run-in that Arsenal has, and with a game in hand on Spurs, 2 on West Ham, is it's daunting to say the least. Yeah. So when I look at what the number is going to be to get there, I go, it's right around 70. Right, which generally speaking, it's pretty much give or take 3 points.
I think Arsenal, United made it one year with 66.
Yeah, so 70 is going to get you 4th place, I think, which means that's 16 points from where Spurs are right now. They have 8 games left, so that's 16 out of 24.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. The thing is, I haven't looked at this in a long time, and remember when I said that Spurs' problem was scoring? It's not anymore. They have flown up the rankings. They're now right in the top 4 in XG. They are now in the top 4 in defense. They're literally, so this is amazing. XG rankings for the league. Liverpool on number 1 with 74 XG. City, Spurs. Spurs are 3rd in the league in XG.
I was going to say they're 4th in goals scored. So
right. And but they weren't. Remember, they've just gone on a tear.
I was there.
Yeah. They were awful, but now the top 4 is now by XG. Tottenham by a lot, and when you talk about XG, the reason why I bring it up is it shows the underlying quality of the performances, right? Mm-hmm. And Spurs were not here. This is a Conte-driven. They are the underlying numbers of what's been happening has taken them to where they're supposed to be. Arsenal had a huge hole to dig out of. They were like minus 15 early in the season because of those 3 early defeats where they were legitimately terrible. But now, they're performing right in line with their XG. Tottenham, as expected, are giving up more goals than you'd expect, but defensively, that might be Lloris missing shots, that might be some defensive issues earlier on, especially now that Romero's in. But Spurs are legitimately playing at a top 4 level. Arsenal have been doing what you need to do, which is beat the bad teams, and they are sitting there. But I think right now your team is in the driver's seat. Tottenham have, with those 2 moves, really solidified the team. The thing that I'm noticing, that there are a couple things that I notice about Spurs that have completely changed the way I think about them. Balls are being played in the middle of the park that never were played in the middle of the park ever. So Betancourt is firing balls into players in the front.
And I told you in January when we signed him, his name is also Rodrigo. I'm like, we've got a Rodri now. Yeah. We have a Rodri. It's very similar to that. He has been dynamite.
He fires those balls in on the attack. And I think it's also the wingbacks, the Doherty thing. Finally, it's funny how, like, we've talked about these things. We think about these things, but I think coaches and managers, they go about it at a different process, right? They've got to try all the players, see how they're doing. We had the great Sessegnon game when he fucking put Salah in his pocket. Then he had other games where he was bad. We had the Royale games where you're like, why is Royale playing? And we're wondering where Doherty is. Maybe it took a long time.
I still don't know why Royale's playing. He was one of 3 defenders. 3 defenders scored for Spurs in one game.
And they were wing back to wing back. Yeah, wing back to wing back.
Spurs had 5 goals and Kane didn't have. He was unbelievable. He was arguably the man of the match. Yeah. He had an assist, at least one. But, like, point being, right?
One, yeah. But it was a great performance, and this is not just a bad Newcastle team. Now they have lost 3 in a row. They were killed on that Everton game, so maybe the shine has gone off of them. But they had to get out of their fucking shithole, so they're probably safe now. And they may not play great for the rest of the season, but maybe you got them on the back end. Dan Burn was trying to defend everything, and Spurs were just dragging him all over the place. It was pretty incredible about what was going on there. Now, I do want to talk about the big game. Like, you've got your big game, you've got your North London derby. It's set for 30 days from Sunday, basically. Now, my team has to go.
This is the fucking Super Bowl. This
is the Super Bowl, right? So we have City and Liverpool both coming in relatively easy, relatively unscathed. They do have midweek matches, which, Atletico versus Benfica is really not fair, but Benfica has Otamendi and Vertonghen, so maybe they'll do something. Who the fuck knows? You never know. You can't underestimate teams in the round of 16 of in the semi. Is it semis? No, it's right.
No, it's quarters.
Quarters, right? Sorry. In the quarterfinals, if you're there, you're there. You did something, right? If they can do what they did to Ajax, then maybe they can stifle Liverpool. It would be amazing for them to do it. But City have the tougher game. They have the bigger name brand. They have the La Liga champions coming to the Etihad. They have to play them on Tuesday and try and put them away, basically. Like, this game can't linger. They've got to kill them.
Right. Every second, think of it like this. City, despite what Laurent will make you think, going into this game, City are
they're favorites. They're heavy favorites.
They're heavy favorites. However, every second that ticks closer to 90, that City are not comfortably in the lead, they become less favorites. Every single second, right? Because that is how Madrid basically, it's a very March Madness mentality for them. It's survive in advance, right? They're never going to blow anybody's doors off. They're just going to get past you.
And they've tried, and they haven't been that identity, but they've somehow found it. Lucky me. In the last 6 games, they've found their identity. They still have Luis Suarez, who, despite the fact that he can't get around the field, if he gets the ball in a place to score, he will score. Yeah. And João Felix is playing out of his mind. First, he's in form. So City are getting Atleti at literally the worst time. And if there isn't an asshole to fuck City up in the world, it's Simeone. He's going to totally fuck up.
Yes. Yeah.
And that will really ruin my season if we.
How did he work? How did he do against Pep when Pep was at Barcelona? Do you know?
I don't remember at all. It was more Bayern. I think Atleti beat Bayern pretty bad.
Okay.
Once or twice. But they find ways. They do their thing. I think again, it's going to be one of these. If City don't score in the first 15 minutes, they're in trouble.
Yeah, it just feels like that coaching matchup feels like Batman versus the Joker a little bit.
I mean, it is pure
Like he's in his
football.
head.
Yeah, it's football versus anti-football.
No, absolutely.
It's Spain versus Argentina. It's the man in black versus the bald man in black.
Right.
Everything it's all shit house. It's all disgusting. It's all blood, no glory. And this is a real clash for City of personality and ideology and everything. And then after that, City, thank God, have depth to sort of deal with these kind of problems. But then they have to at least play at
They
home. So they're home for the week. But then
but they gear up
Anfield,
for war.
yeah. But then, Liverpool come in. I think a draw is okay. It just means we just keep going. A draw does
Right.
not.
A draw means nothing happened.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost as if the game didn't happen.
Yeah. But it
So
would really, if a City win puts the league away and then Liverpool
almost
win,
definitely.
that means they have like a game and a half lead, basically, not with 8 to play.
Well, yes, but the thing is that regardless of the outcome on Sunday, neither team is going to relent, right?
No.
So
They're both going to try and win. There won't be this
right.
sort of cagey shit.
So the only thing that Sunday controls is who has destiny in their own hands. And I don't mean to belittle that. Of course it's everything. But perfect example, this past Saturday, right? Liverpool play the early game.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2-0. They win. City take the pitch knowing Liverpool just won 20 minutes ago.
Right, exactly.
They have to win, right? So they got their early goal 5 minutes in. De Bruyne. All right, everybody breathe. But if they didn't, squeaky bum time, Drake. But they would, you know what I mean? They would start to get more tight as the game went along. And you're going to see it vice versa too. I'm sure that the schedule will work out to the point where Man City will be playing just before Liverpool. And just the same way that they can apply pressure, they can creak the door wide open if they draw or if they lose, right? So yes, Sunday, as I mentioned, is the Super Bowl. It is the best football match you will see all year. Champions League, anywhere. This is it.
Yeah.
But
now
it's not over. It's probably over, but it's not going to be.
Yeah, and Liverpool are on a run. They haven't lost since they haven't lost in 22. They drew to Chelsea on the day after New Year's, and basically they've given up only 2 goals. They've had 6 clean sheets in a row. They have been running hard and just kicking the shit out of all comers. So they are completely in form. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're on a 10-game winning streak. So that's 10 games, 3 points up. They've gotten 30 points in the bag, and we'll see you there. I mean, they'd have to finish the season on a 19-game winning streak. Listen, if they do that, they're champions, right? Like, what am I supposed to do? They play at home against United. They have Villa away, which could be tough. Then they have Jurg Mob at home. So that's even tougher. They don't have any more tough away games, basically. This is their toughest away game. You could see Southampton nicking something, but home against Wolves to finish the season. They've got the runway to do it. They're there. They've got it all. They're really on form. And City, I could do the same for City. We haven't lost, but I mean, we had the loss to what did we lose to? I don't even remember what the fuck happened. But
I don't see trouble in City's running.
No, ours is easier.
Well, yeah, definitely. I think and West Ham on May 15th is really the only game that scares me for City.
We kill West Ham. They're not fucking.
You kill them, and they're not likely to have much to play for at that point. As far as I see it, right? Like they will be. They'll be fighting Manchester United for a Europa League spot or a Europa Conference League spot. So I mean, whatever.
I mean, and City had their big run, from November to December. Then I think the Diaz injury did damage to the team. We sputtered. We've had the loss to your mob. Got a tough. Should have lost to Everton. The United game put things back, but then Palace was one of these fucking, away. Crystal Palace. We've been playing a lot of away games. The Burnley game is good, but our run-in is all at home, right? So it's Liverpool at home, Brighton at home, Watford at home, Newcastle at home, Villa at home. the toughest game we've got is a London game in West
Well,
Ham.
right,
Like you said.
and yeah, Leeds isn't far. That's away, but West
Yeah.
Ham is the only one that you're like, all
I
right,
do, although Wolves away after the Liverpool game. I mean, this is a tough run.
no, but that's postponed, so you're going to get a blow after that.
Oh, there it is. I see. Oh,
It'll
because we're
probably
because
be
it's Liverpool. We have the FA Cup.
right. So, but you still have other competitions, so nobody knows when that's going to be yet, right? So,
Yeah.
you're going to fit it in. Basically, they're going to see if you're well in the semifinal. It doesn't matter, right? But like you're gonna probably squeak it in on the one of the non-Champions League weeks in late April, early May. So
yeah. But I mean, this is normal. This is what big teams do. It's not a complaint. I
No.
hate the fucking schedule complaining. I hated Arsenal doing it. I hate Liverpool doing it. They do it the same time every year, and then you're like, I want my game postponed. When do you want to play it? Okay, we're playing. Just
right.
shut the fuck up. But my team's in form. You know, it's just going. It's just now the question is the rotations have happened so much and there's been so many different lineups that there isn't really like a clear fuck up lineup this time. Like if I see Fernandinho, then I'll be worried because
Right.
he's kind of like, you're not playing. As long as Rodri's in, I'm good. Or, you know, I don't want to see like Raheem Sterling through the middle with no Foden. Anything no Foden, I don't like. De Bruyne will play, but anything like that freaks me out. I really would feel so much better if it was Diaz out there. But right now it looks like it's going to be Laporte, Ake, two left footers going against Liverpool. You know how I feel about Ake, where I'm like, it's Ake. Why is Ake playing? But you know, we all have those players. Like when you I bet when you're like, where's Eric Dyer? Why isn't he playing? So, you know, that's where we are. And then I think we can probably pivot a little bit to the sort of darker end of the world. And that is Everton. They've really been living on these 2 games in hand thing. And they are legitimately in trouble. Like, I didn't know how in trouble they were until I watched them. And then I realized they have Burnley. We still, what do we say? Probably 6 weeks ago that it was going to take 8 wins. That's still true, or 6. But it looks like 34, 35 is going to make you safe. And these teams are like, they're on 25. Like, Everton's on 25. That's just not going to get it done. Now, they're running for Everton. And granted, they could just back their ways in because the teams below them are fucking awful. But if one of these teams gets 2 wins in a row between Watford or Burnley, this is the Everton run. And you ready? So they have Burnley on Wednesday.
Yep, huge game.
United, Palace, Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester again, Brentford, Arsenal. They could not win easily.
Yeah. Well, they'll give Watford a game, but that's the thing is that like you've got we talked about Burnley's games in hand, and we've used that as a parachute for Everton. No, Everton aren't really going down. They've got 4 games in hand, for Christ's sake. Okay,
that bill
comes due. Yeah. That bill comes due on Wednesday. You want to stay in the league? Listen, and by the way, you want to stay in the league? You beat Burnley on Wednesday, April 6th. In Burnley on a Wednesday night. It's probably going to be rainy and cold as fuck. Although you guys are Liverpool people, you're probably used to that shit.
It's north
go to Burnley and get a win.
Yeah,
you're fine. You're fine.
They're fine. They almost
because you're going to extinguish probably your biggest competition.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, there's not really much like the teams that were in the sort of struggle. Your Leeds, your Brentfords almost got pulled down. Brighton is super safe. Like once Leeds and Liverpool and Brentford, so once Newcastle, Brentford, and Leeds just were like, we're not fucking, we're too good. We're gone. They step on the gas. They each get 2 or 3 wins each, and they just vroom right out, right? Like especially Newcastle that just like won 4 in a row. They were like, we're out of here. This isn't our problem anymore. The issue is like Watford, Burnley, and Norwich. They're really bad teams, and Everton just literally need a win, maybe 2. It's 2 wins. Well, 2 wins, 31 points. They're good on 2 wins.
This is an elimination game because no matter what happens Unless Burnley wins, and then that's the only way. If it's a draw, Burnley's done, right? Because this is their opportunity.
Yeah.
If there's an Everton win, Burnley's done because this was Everton's. They finally took it, and like then they're 6 points clear of Watford, still with one of those games in hand, and I think it's actually against Watford, as it were.
Are you ready for the number?
Yeah.
If you sort by top leading scorer by team, Everton's the lowest scoring top leading scorer. Their top leading scorer is Damari Gray on 5 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Richarlison? He was there all season. He's
he's been
second in minutes on his team and doesn't do shit. He has 4 goals. Dominic Calvert-Lewin died. I don't know. He's playing but not doing anything.
That was an issue. There was something internal there.
And I'm gonna steal something from like the Bill Simmons podcast where it's like turn the camera on. Michael Keane is the worst defender in the Premier League. He should never play. I don't know why he plays, and I think Burnley has lucked out in that he got a red card. Everton.
No, Everton has lucked out. Yeah.
He's so bad, and he's second in minutes. He's 29 years old. There was no reason to foul Antonio. He basically said, I want to leave this game.
I got a shit.
He's so fucking bad. He's just one of the worst players.
Spurs abused him.
He's awful. Like, he's not a championship defender. He's lower than that. He's League One. This was one of the greatest Burnley moves that Sean Dyche ever did. He built up Michael Keane, and the second he found Ben Mini Tarkovsky, it was like, you can go now.
Yeah.
We're going to sell you to Everton because these clowns are fine defenders. Listen, if Dyche can get money for a guy that he needs, he'll sell him. That's why he doesn't sell Tarkovsky and me, because they're good.
I think 30 points is the line because I'm looking at this.
It's 32. 32 is the number.
If you
get 32, you're good.
Sure. But what I'm saying is it could be 30, right? Because Everton could have 2 wins left in them, which gets them to 31.
Yeah.
And I look at Burnley, and to be fair, they still play Norwich. They still
Burnley
play
would
Watford.
have to get 9 points to get to 31. Where are they finding 9 points?
Well, they beat Tottenham already, so, I would say you want to find their 9 points? Everton?
They don't exist.
Norwich, Watford.
They play Everton, Norwich, and Watford?
Sure do.
Oh, that's 9 points.
9 points. They could have fucking hell. They could have 6 of them by next week.
If they win these next 2, it is like in Dyche we trust. Turn the machines back on. Here we're gonna run it back one more time.
Yeah.
The other thing is of this group now. I mean, I don't think we count Norwich. It's now Everton, Watford, Burnley, right? Of this group, Everton have the worst manager.
Yeah.
I don't think Frank Lampard knows what the fuck he's doing. Basically,
No.
He had that Chelsea team. They were falling apart. Tuchel was like, this team's awesome. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
He's like, see this guy, Antonio Rudiger? He should play every game. What are you doing? He's like, and off they went. And they won the fucking Champions League with Rudiger and the 3 at the back. How do you not? What are you doing, Frank?
Yeah.
Like, does he feel like a dick? He should. First of all, the other one is with Everton. Oh, we bought Van der Beek and Ali.
Why?
That's not what you needed. You needed not to have fucking Michael Keane playing defense.
And nobody loves Dele Alli more than me, but
he's done.
You've got Frank Lampard as a coach in midfield. You don't have Frank Lampard in midfield. You have the same quality you have in the manager's chair in Dele and Van der Beek. Like, what do they add to your team? Oh, they're cast-offs?
Yeah.
They're cast-offs at other top 6 sides?
Yeah.
Is that where you are now? Like, no, seriously, take stock in yourself for a second, Everton. Is that what you are now?
Yeah, they are.
Is that what you aspire to be? I think that's actually the difference. That is what you are. But is that what you wish you were? Because that's what you do in the transfer market. You go, whoa, we're here now. This is our current level. We're not going to get players to cement that same level.
Yeah, it's Dan Burn, $15 million.
Unbelievable.
right?
Unbelievable.
That's what Newcastle did. It was like, we're getting this center forward to do the job we need them to do. By the
Yeah.
way, would you fire Lampard if they lose to Burnley?
Yeah.
I would.
I thought about it. On Sunday. Who did they lose to on Sunday? It was horrible. West
West
Ham.
Ham.
After
But
the
West
red
Ham's good. But there was just nothing there. There's nothing. There's no there.
Yeah, right.
They're just bad.
They get
Anyway,
boat
but
race in the FA quarters.
but it's a big deal. I mean, like Everton
Look, what I'll say
going
is this.
down.
If they lose to Burnley, yes, absolutely, Frank's on his ass because, and this is unfair to whoever it is that takes this job.
They have
Because
to
your
fire
first 3 games are United, Leicester, and Liverpool, and Chelsea, and then Leicester again. Those are your first 5 games, right, in 30 days. So that sucks. But hey, you've got the leash until the end of the season. Try to get something out of this group because it's clear that Frank isn't getting shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't even like. Is he going to go down to the championship with this team?
No. There's no chance that Everton's going to let him take them down, right? They may go down, but it will not be with Frank Lampard. They will cut bait on him the next time they lose badly. And by badly, I mean at all to Burnley or by multiple goals to United or Leicester. And again, you've got the Merseyside derby coming up on April 24th.
They could get blown out.
They could get killed with a Chelsea man at the bench. And you have to sit there and explain that to your fans. Are you kidding? You've been talking about building a new stadium. You can't even stay in the league.
That's a disaster.
It's a disaster. And you know what? I might fire him even if they win on Sunday. On Wednesday, excuse me.
No, if they win, he's gold, right?
I know
he does have that Newcastle game. It's luck. I think what they should do is probably like we're not going to defend. Let's just go hell for leather.
They have that Newcastle game that they won.
Yeah, that
for the first time since
they needed that game. That game was huge. They were down a man in that game.
I understand. They've lost to Norwich. They've won 2 games. In the current year.
Yeah, in 3 months. Yeah.
And not including that doesn't include one FA Cup win over Bournemouth. Okay. And one over Brentford. To be fair, nice win. But they've won 2 league games since January. So I can't really defend this. And again, if it is 3 points or bust for me, for Frank, for Wednesday.
But look at the XG. It's under 1 for 2 months.
I know, but that's the point.
They're not even creating anything. Like he's
that's
supposed
the
to
point,
be
is that you
an
have to
offensive
bring
manager.
Something. You have to eat. All right. Well, now at this point, actually, you need to do one of 2 things. And especially with the run-in that you have, I'd call Big Sam.
They hate him.
I get it. But all they have to do is draw twice against these big clubs and beat Watford, and you're fucking fine.
The thing that's funny is they had Benitez. They should have just fucking kept him.
Yeah.
Or the other one, I don't think it's a coincidence that Dominic Calvert-Lewin can't score goals because there's no balls coming in from the wing.
No.
Because you got rid of Luca Digne.
And that's the same thing as but it's the same thing as Richarlison, right? Yeah. You know, I hate the prick, but he's on an island.
Yeah,
you almost feel bad for him.
I think this is the longest we've given to Everton ever because it's our.
It's shocking. It is genuinely like, all right, Everton right now are like Charlie Sheen like 5 years ago, when everybody's like, "What happened to you, man? You know, you used to be so great. You used to be Wild Thing, man."
Yeah.
Like
now you're
nothing,
not,
man.
Yeah, you are shit.
You're a mess. Clean yourself up.
Yeah,
you're not winning. You're not winning anything. You're literally not winning anything.
You're not winning anything. Yes. Yeah, I do want to give some shrift to our friends at Man United. Sure. You know, it is the biggest club in the world. We have to talk about them. Nothing happened. This team's bad. This team's terrible.
All right, what do you want to talk about? Nothing.
Yeah, no, they went back to the formation that they played against City. That was so bad. And the same thing happened. They were disjointed. They are literally have completely tuned out Rangnick. They're not pressing. There's nothing new going on. They know he's not going to be the coach. This team has fucking checked the fuck out.
No.
They're done.
I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna let you do that. And here's why.
Why?
Because I'm not saying anything you're saying is incorrect. By the way,
Yeah.
I agree with all of it. However, here's what's going to happen because this is how the ebbs and flows of the Premier League season narrative go.
Well, they're going to win 2 games and everything's going to be fine.
They are 3 points off of Spurs and Arsenal right now for fourth place. They're still right fucking there. And who do they have on Saturday? And then the next Saturday after that, with no games in between because they lost in the Champions League. Everton and Norwich. They're going to fucking boat race both of these games. Okay. They're going to win by multiple goals in both games. And then they're going to be right on Tottenham's ass, right on Arsenal's ass, just in time
to get blown the doors off of by Liverpool.
To go to Anfield. And then to go to the Emirates.
Yeah.
Right? Those are those 2 games. So
you think Brentford's not going to come with some leather for them?
Sure. And Brighton too. But listen, hear this.
They have a tough run in.
In 12 days' time, you're going to hear Sky Sports, Manchester United. They're going to be all over them because they're going to win 2 games against shit opponents. They're going to put them right back in the race. And then they're going to get absolutely fucking annihilated. Twice, maybe 3 times. And then it's going to be all hellfire and brimstone again. And they end with 6 tough games. Liverpool, Arsenal, Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea, and Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park to end the season on Championship Sunday. How many of those are they winning, right? So,
they have. Well, to be fair, they have not been losing, right? So under Rangnick, the 4-1 to is that where they fired him? Is it the 4-1? Yeah, the 4-1 to Watford is when he gets fired to 11-20. He only loses to Wolves once and Manchester City. Everything else is draws. But remember, they had that easy run in. We were like, they're going to fucking take off. They didn't do shit.
No, they didn't go anywhere. Drop points against Watford, against Southampton, against Burnley.
I mean, they're
against Villa, against Newcastle. Dude, that's horrible.
Yeah. Their best win is Arsenal, and I guess the 1-0 against West Ham was a good win, maybe. But that's although the Burnley and Southampton back to back. Those are
they left 12 points on the board with draws in the last 3 months. That we were sitting there like, holy shit.
That's 0-0 versus Watford. That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I know. But what I'm saying is
terrible.
Understand, so when we say these things like, 12 points, whatever. No, they would not win all of those games. That's foolish to say.
Yeah.
But in the context of what this means, if you gave them half of those games against terrible opponents, that's 6 points. That takes them from 3 points behind to 3 points ahead in 4th place. 2 points off of Chelsea for 3rd. So when you talk about, drop points, and I still think to this day, like Tottenham blew that game against Burnley, and there's a couple others that always stick out in my head. If we lose a game against a top 6 team, I'm like, yeah, that sucks. That's going to happen. It's always the games you go, whose fucking idea was that? Right? Like, come on, man. These are the games you don't lose, or at least you don't not win, because those are the ones that come back. They're like herpes. They come back right when you don't want them to, right at the end of the season. And it's like, great. Now I have a flare up and I got to beat Liverpool and City and Arsenal to get into the Champions League.
But then the thing is that
the whole time.
They think that that's where they are, and they are not.
No, I understand. But but that's the thing, is that they're the margins of where they should be and where they are so infantile. But at the same time, if Spurs win that one game against Burnley, well, they're also 157. Yeah. So you could do what ifs until you're fucking blue in the face. I understand.
Of course. I mean, let's just go through it.
It's so mind numbing sometimes from our point of view. You're like, how the fuck did you? If it's one game, that happens to everybody. But it was 6 games over the course of 3 months where we looked at it and went, oh boy, United's end of season schedule is a fucking bear, but they're going to go into it with a pretty solid advantage because of all this, and then not. So now what, right?
Yeah. Well, let's just sort of do the XG rankings just to sort of give equality. quality check that sort of fits in with our narrative, right? So City and Liverpool are way far away. They're like their XG per game is plus 1.5. Plus 1.5 goals in XG per 90 is like stratospheric. There's only 2 teams in the world that have ever done this. This is abnormal. Like Chelsea's 0.75 is actually really good. They're a plus 35. They finished the season on a plus 50. They would actually be champions in most seasons historically. Like this is a really good Chelsea team. They should not feel bad for where they are. No. They're just not stratospheric. Then your team comes in at 0.62. So you're pretty close to Chelsea in terms of quality. I would
agree ahead of them since Conte took over.
Yes. I would imagine that's accurate. Then you have then there's a drop of about 0.4, which is a lot, which is Arsenal and Man United are both. Arsenal's on 0.28, Man United on 0.11. Then there's a little group here of weird teams. You're like West Ham and Palace are close together. I would agree. Palace has had some really good games, and they've been quality all year. 13 draws. They have as many losses as Arsenal do. So a lot of draws for them. They're one of the only teams that are a plus. There's only 6 teams in the league that are plus. Everyone else is minus.
Yeah.
So Palace have actually been really good. But that sort of rounds out the top group. And it's only different from the actual rankings in that Arsenal is 5th, Man United is 7th, and West Ham is 6th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in this group is City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, United, West Ham. And the actual rankings are City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, West Ham, United. So United are underperforming a little bit, and you'd expect that from West Ham, who are shithousing their way across. But I would take West Ham over United any day of the week. Like, if I had one team to go get a result, I'd be like, give me fucking – what team has Craig Dawson? Let's do it. Because is he as good – does he play as well as Harry Maguire does? Yes.
Yeah,
yes, he does. Right? But the difference that West Ham has is just like fucking Rice and Souček would destroy McTominay and Fred just any day of the week, twice.
Yeah, and everywhere else on the pitch, United are miles better, I think. But it's the spine. It's right down the middle.
Yeah, and then the no Ronaldo thing. I think it makes a difference. Like he gives them spirit, even when he sort of fucks up their team. He does have
he gives them spirit in either direction, positively or negatively. But
he does something that's not nothing. He gives an energy that we can't talk or understand or whatever. So let's just wrap up. We have the big things to watch. We've got Atletico and City tomorrow. Then Liverpool versus Benfica. The bigger match, I think, is probably Real Madrid versus Chelsea. Chelsea go into this limping. But Real had just been beaten pretty badly by Barca at the time. I would have pipped Chelsea to be a favorite against Real, but Real in the Champions League is just a different beast. Like weird fucking ghosts coming out. They're like the
90s Yankees.
No, they're more like Game 7 on the parquet floor Celtics kind of shit, where you're just like,
okay.
You're like, this team's not good, but they somehow are winning. I don't understand. Yeah. Is there a hockey team that has that?
No.
It should have been Montreal.
It was Montreal. It was Montreal in like the 60s.
Yeah, but it lived on for years, right?
In the 70s. Sorry.
Right, but the Bruins at home versus Toronto, they could never beat them.
Right.
That was another one. Mm-hmm. Anyway, hockey's fucking weird. I'm not going to bring that shit up ever again. And then I'll be licking my lips and worried about City. And I do want to say, I shared with you guys that I put a $10 bet on Crystal Palace.
You did?
Right when I saw the line. So I won.
You did? And I was a chicken shit. I saw 325 and I went, I bet draw no bet is still plus odds. And it was, and I won on that. So I did a little more buy-in and I took that home too. So
All right. Let's wrap it up.
Let's get out of here.
That was the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike Salerno and Laurent Cortines. We are the football wing of the Chop Sports Network, who have made it to 1,000 fans on YouTube. Good for them. Yeah. We record on Tuesdays and Fridays, so be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you never miss an episode. And to FanHub, we love you. Thank you for everything. Please rate and review, download FanHub, and we will speak to you on Thursday, and I will be getting nervous.